What's going on, guys? Valcan here with another episode of the Card a Day series. This is the monumental episode 10. Can you believe we've already done 10 of these? You guys listen to me talk for 10 of these episodes? Okay. Anyways, the card we have for today is the Telvanni Arcanist. A very cool looking card indeed. As always, let's talk about the artwork before we get into the competitive viability, the stats, and the community's thoughts. Now, the first thing I want to note about the artwork of the card is that it all blends together very well. It really embodies what I think of when I see a dark elf or I hear about a dark elf. I think about a elf, a sorcerer, wizard, creating spells, etc. And as you can see, he's in some type of chamber, has candles lit in the background, writing down something, taking notes, making a script, manuscript. And the cloth that's falling from his shoulder is very detailed, gold, red. The armor lines are great. They just go together with this card very well. Okay, it's not the best artwork I've seen, but I do enjoy it. If I could rate it on artwork alone, I would give it a 3. No question about it. No question asked about that. Now on to the stats and the competitive viability of the card. First up, as always, the name, Telvanni Arcanist. It is a rare card. It's a creature, obviously. It falls under the intelligence attribute. It's a dark elf, as mentioned earlier. It's a 3-drop, 3 magic cost. It has 3 attack, 2 health. It comes with the core set. It costs 100 to create, 20 to get back from, if you soul trap it. Now the text reads, last gasp. Put a random action into your hand. Now that's a good feature, especially if you're playing an action mage deck or any type of action heavy intelligence decks or combo decks. Because as you may know, as an action mage or a mage in general, having extra actions in your hand can really mean the difference in the turn or even the game for you. Maintaining that board control with an extra action is great. I do also want to note that it's only used in 23% of intelligence decks at the moment. I find that reasonable. I would expect probably 30%, maybe 35%, but considering the stats and how well it may play in action rolls or any type of combo deck, some type of battle mage would be great. You know, you use your pure power from your red, and then the actions or spells from the blue side. That can really mean a good synergy in a deck. Now that we've covered the stats and the competitive viability of the card, let's move on to the comments from the community. Per usual, we'll start with the top comment, or rather not the most upvoted, but it is the best comment for this thread. It comes from Josh. He mentions that the art is something about the anatomy of his shoulders / arms doesn't seem right to me. Other than that, the colors contrast nicely, and we definitely get a feel for the theme of the card. 7 out of 10. I do agree with his analysis of the card. The Dark Elf does look a little hunched over, which may be causing the appearance to be kind of off. As far as the cost and stats for him, it's a below average stats for a 3-drop. I do agree with that. However, it will still sometimes trade with a card equal to its cost, mostly. However, you can expect to trade with a 2-drop. Trading down isn't preferable, but at least the ability makes up for the stats. Yeah, I agree. I'm not even going to go into the ability, his comment on the ability, because I think we can all agree that for a 3-drop, you expect to get more most of the time. I didn't really break down the cost Magicka by Magicka in this one. But if you remember from other episodes, I do, and you can see that the card is a little underwhelming, stats-wise. Because the thing about the RNG or randomness of the game, you could get an Ice Spike, or you could get something other than Ice Spike. You could get something great. You could get a Lightning Bolt. Ice Spike is actually pretty good. 2 damage, draw a card. Okay. Theron says, I personally use it as a substitute for Daggerfall Mage, until I can get my grubby paws on one. And as you may know, Daggerfall Mage is a legendary, quite expensive, and very hot right now in a lot of meta decks. Item Sorcerer is what I'm thinking of. He also says, it works fine, but I can definitely see how it's weaker than the Mage. Obviously, with the Mage you get Ward. When it loses a Ward, you get a Tome, which is a +2/+2 draw card, and that's really hard to beat. One more comment from Tasty Jerkin. It's an okay card, but I think people overvalue it. I agree. It seems most decks are aggressive to mid-range, Spellsword Token, Assassin. In this meta, keep in mind months ago meta, which this card is terrible against. It's pretty good in control mirrors though. And as we saw, it wasn't used in that many decks. Even now, it's only used in, I think, 23%? Yeah. Not favoring well for the Telvanni Arcanist, to be honest. Okay, so let's move on to the rating of the card. Artwork alone, I would give it a 3, I think. I like the colors, how they very well blend together and complement each other, especially with the Dark Elf theme. Stat-wise, I'm going to give it a 2. The community seems to be not really for the card. They like the artwork, but not really what you get for the card. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to give it a 2 for my rating. And with the rating combined of the communities, I think we're going to stick with 2 stars on this one.
The ambition of the Telvanni knows no bounds.
If you have other thoughts on the card, please let me know in the comment section below. Other than that, guys, that's all I have for this episode. Take it easy.